Beyond the dust. That is what Gladys Wanga has written on his page some hours ago. And today, viewers, we want to talk about the state of roads in Homa Bay. And I want to bring you the real truth about the state of the roads in Homa Bay, because everybody's blaming Kibaki, Uhuru for not doing anything in Homa Bay. So let's first read what Gladys Wanga has said about the roads before we go into analysis, because today we want to talk about the truth about the roads in Homa Bay. And why, viewers, I think that, in my opinion and in my perspective, I think that the reason why Homa Bay is underdeveloped is because Homa Bay has always chosen the wrong leaders. And especially ODM has always directed how Homa Bay chooses its leaders, and those leaders who were closer to the late Raila Amolo Odinga were not doing their bit when it comes to development. And even when they had chances, they were not pushing development to their area. They're only focusing on their own personal growth, development, na enrichment. So let's read the statement from Gladys Wanga before we go into the analysis. So viewers, before we go into it, welcome to One Ball Brain. My name is Uma Bran, and as always, remember to subscribe to our channel. That is how you support us. And also, viewers, hit that notification bell and also leave a comment and tell us what do you think about the state of roads in Homa Bay, because we want to go into analysis of it and we want to have a conclusion and see if what Gladys Wanga is talking about is the truth. So Gladys Wanga today has done a post saying beyond the dust. Beyond the dust, Homa Bay's long road from marginalization to transformation. So Homa Bay long road from marginalization to transformation. But remember, we have had devolution for 15 years. Homa Bay has an equalization fund yenye inasaidianga counties zenye ziko marginalized. Homa Bay gets funding like all the other counties in Kenya. Let's get that completely on point. That even if the national government is not taking projects to Homa Bay has a county government, has resources going to Homa Bay. So it's not like Homa Bay has been secluded. No, for the past 15 years, Homa Bay imekuwa inapata pesa za devolution. So let's read through the narrative ya Gladys Wanga. The dust on the Mbita, Sindo, Kiabuya, Sori corridor tells a story. But it's not the story of people who have failed. It is the story of a region that has waited far too long for the infrastructure required to unlock its potential. What was billed as a tour of Homa Bay by the Linda Mwananchi ended up doing something its organizers did not intend. It highlighted the very tribulation our community has been fighting to overcome. Rough roads in part of Suba South became a visual metaphor and source of ridicule for Homa Bay exclusion from development, including by their main sponsor. I don't know what she meant by that, into bracket, including by their main sponsor. For the people who live along these roads, however, their condition is no joke. It's a daily reality that shapes access to market and services, the cost of doing business, and the pace at which communities can develop. Homa Bay has lived with this reality for decades. Since independence, the county, like many others across the country, has been evidence of a structural deficit that stretches from God Odiado in Siaya to Worth Ogik in Nyatike, shared by Turkana, Masailand, Western Kenya, the coast, and other regions that have waited since 1963 for a fair share of the republic. I don't know what they mean by that. A fair share of republic. What do you mean by that? For a fair share of the republic. I don't know what she means by that. She has been a woman rep for 10 years. She has been a governor now for 4 years. ODM has been in existence for 20 years. It has been the most powerful party for 20 years. All these regions she has mentioned are regions that have been controlled by ODM. Siaya to Wothogek in Nyatike. Nyatike is in Migori. Shared by Turkana, Masailand, Western Kenya, and the coast. These are regions that had supported ODM for the past 20 years. They have been ODM stronghold for the past 20 years. These areas have been voting for ODM candidates strictly. Let's continue, because we'll come to that and why I think that the leaders are the problem, not the presidents. The leaders are the problem with this underdevelopment. Even in Western Kenya, we know the issue is with the leaders, not really the president. Because once somebody becomes a president, he's a president for everybody. These regions have experienced acute economic marginalization reflected in an infrastructure deficit far greater than what their population, resource, and potential should have allowed. Those roads have the origins in independent Kenya, and their neglect spans every administration: 15 years under Jomo Kenyatta, 24 years under Daniel Arap Moi, 10 under Mwai Kibaki, and 10 more under Uhuru Kenyatta. It is a matter of historical record, not grievances for its own sake. The roads Linda Mwananchi cameras found so remarkable are the same roads generation of government chose not to build. The Mbita Road itself tells a story in a miniature. First awarded in 2016 under the Uhuru Kenyatta government to put Sarajevo. It stalled for lack of allocated funds with only 7 kilometers of its 74 kilometers completed. It was re-awarded in 2010 and again saw little progress. In the last 2 years, 28 kilometers have so far been tarmacked with works currently ongoing. So 78 kilometers. So Uhuru, wacha tuseme Uhuru alifanya 10. So zikabaki 64. Ruto has only done 28. It is important to note that a 74-kilometer trunk road is not something that devolution or CDF can address. Okay, that is true. We know devolution or CDF cannot address that. But there are some other issues that devolution and CDF can address that we saw. Water, healthcare, schools. However, devolution matters. Some will ask what devolution has done. It is devolution championed for decades by leaders including Raila Odinga that has begun to give counties like Homa Bay a say over their own development and a share of resources once concentrated at the center. This has turned the case for correcting marginalization from a matter of goodwill into a constitutional guarantee. Why haven't you told us what devolution has done really? Ungelist vitu zenye devolution umetumia pesa yake kufanya. During your tenure, ulist maybe vitu zenye Sipri na Witi alifanya for 10 years. Maybe in that same area yenye tuliona yenye Kodasti, you could have listed for us because devolution has come to help marginalization. Remember, devolution has been here for 15 years. Uhuru alianza na devolution. So, wezi blame to Uhuru for the underdevelopment in the area. No, blame Sipri na Witi, blame ODM, and blame also the late Raila Amolo Odinga because he was the leader of that region in that particular time. He could have pushed these leaders to do more. Raila alikuwa na handshake na Uhuru, whereby projects were done. Stadiums were built during that time. So these are some of the things that wewe kama your time, a person who was in ODM, you should have pushed for these projects as a woman rep. No mention of what was done during for devolution. Devolution vitu zenye imefanya uja mention, lakini nimesikia umemention Uhuru hakufanya kitu, alifanya only 7 kilometers, Kibaki did nothing, Kenyatta did nothing, Moi did nothing. Okay? We are not embarrassed by that history. If images of rutted roads and Homa Bay comparison to conflict zones, we take that as a badge of honor to our marginalization and resilience, not an insult requiring our silence. No. So at Homa Bay, you just need to feel good that since you are marginalized, your leaders say, hizo barabara mbaya ni kwa sababu serikali mwasahau. So mbaki tu hivyo. You need to take that and have an honor. It should be honorable to have bad roads. No, it's not. That's a very, very, very bad statement. Mukubali tu vitu. Ni kama sahi Ruto anatuambia we should just accept whatever. Since we are building roads, mukubali mafuta ipande, mukubali stima ipande, mukubali maisha ipande. Tunajenga barabara. You see, Mudavadi anatuambia Western, they are building roads. So we should shut up that they are building roads. Watu wa sukari watapewa bonus. Bonus of how much? When the industry yenyewe tunajua ziwaka. Watu wapandi tena miwa. Kama watu wapandi miwa, farmers wameachana na miwa juu miwa ilipi on time. Muna import sukari, munapeleka kwa hizo miwa. Kampuni zote meuzia Wahindi. Wana package sukari yenye imeimportiwa. Industry imekufa. Watu wameachishwa kazi. Watu wajalipo madeni yao ya miwa. It does not make sense. It does not make sense. It does not make sense to tell people that it should be an honor for them to accept that Homa Bay is like Yemen. Homa Bay is like Afghanistan. Watu Homa Bay wanafaa feel an honor. We are convinced that these roads will have been tarmacked decades ago had Tom Mboya, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga remained in government. But they were in government. What do you mean they were not in government? Those guys were in government until they died. Elective positions. Jaramogi was in elective positions until he died. The name pure. Jaramogi was forced out in 1966 as a deputy president, as a vice president. but Jaramogi was in government. So you are still selling us wrong history here. Tom Mboya assassinated in 1969. So what do you mean? Both on a path towards the presidency. Okay, but they never won elections. Cannot be a president without winning election. Can never be president without winning an election. So it does not make sense. So let's assume Jaramogi or Tom Mboya will have been president. Those roads will have been made. So that is the assumption. Raila Odinga. So it means that for roads in Homa Bay to be done, we must have a Luo president. Okay, so now William Ruto in blood-based arrangement is doing the work. Okay. Raila Odinga, many believed will have delivered that infrastructure as a president, but when Kenyans elected him, that mandate was denied to him by force. The history is why the current moment deserves to be judged on its own terms, not dismissed as a political theater. The question is whether the historical deficit is finally being confronted with the urgency it deserves. This is compelling evidence that something has changed, particularly since 2024. In 4 years, the Ruto administration has moved Homa Bay projects from aspiration to implementation. Since 2024. Handshake. But there was another handshake by Raila during Uhuru's time. The Mbita, Sindo, Kiabuya, Sori Corridor and the wider Suba South Road network, the dwelling projects and upgrades across Lala Ruga, Nyalkinyimbo, the Gor Mahia Ring Road, Rango Boke, Rango Ndiru, whatever, and Sindo Town Road network and the Homa Bay Pier, the modern fish market, Raila Odinga Stadium, ESP markets across the county, the Rusinga Road, the Mfangano Ring Road, and many others. We appeal to our people to take this week's mockery in stride. There is little hardship this region has not already endured since 1963. Neglect is a subject we do not shy away from. It is why we urge our people to look past sideshows and support an administration that has shown genuine willingness to correct the marginalization of Nyanza and other undeserved regions. The dust is real. The historical deficit is real, but so is the transformation now underway. Beyond the dust lies the Homa Bay we have always deserved. Okay, so that is the speech. That is the speech from Wanga. That is the speech from Wanga. I have many questions myself, but before I go to those main questions, I need to read comments from the people. People are asking her, why do you have to explain yourself using many words? There's another person who is saying, next time you must remember as a Homa Bay resident that Uhuru administration did these roads. Rodi Rangwe to Oyugis to Kisii, Oyugis Kendu Bay, Rodi to Kabondo, recapiting Mbita to Homa Bay, Olare, Imbo, recapiting Awach Kendo to Homa Bay, Rusinga Bridge. By the way, the bridge in Mfangano was done by Uhuru. That beautiful bridge in Mfangano was done by Uhuru. Yes, that bridge connecting, I think, Suba and whatever and Mfangano Island, there's a bridge there that was done by Uhuru. Uhuru akaleta vessels that are used to transport people between Suba, is it between Homa Bay and Mfangano? That was done by Uhuru, by the way. So, all this is lies, by the way. All this is lies. So let's go into facts. Let's go into facts. We want to look at the facts. And today I have some facts about roads. And that's why we are here today on One Bold Brain here. We want to talk about facts. So let's get into facts. Because I have facts for you. So let's start. Let's start by Kibaki. Okay. So there is evidence. There is a strong evidence, you can check viewers, that Kibaki's government delivered the Kendu Bay to Homa Bay Road. Kendu Bay to Homa Bay Road was delivered under Kibaki's government. The contractor records that approximately 38-kilometer road was completed in March 2012 with a project value of about 3.36 billion. Homa Bay's own 2013 to 2027 development plan also records Homa Bay to Rongo, Homa Bay Kendu Bay, Homa Bay Mbita, and Rodikopan to Sori as major Class C roads under development around the beginning of the devolved government era. So, development plan ya Homa Bay yenyewe 2013 to 2017 inasema that there were roads that were being developed. Homa Bay to Rongo, Homa Bay to Kendu Bay, Homa Bay to Mbita, and Road Kopan to Sori as major Class C roads under development around the beginning of the devolved government era. That is 2013. So Kibaki did 38 kilometers of road in Homa Bay. That was Kendu Bay to Homa Bay Road was done by Kibaki government. And then Kibaki was the president from 2002 to 2012. That is when Kibaki was president. And during the same period of time, remember, Raila had a grand coalition from 2008 to 2012. Grand coalition government was there at the same period of time. So roads were done in Homa Bay. During the same period ya Kibaki, Raila was like a co-president. He was the prime minister. He had a lot of power. So what do you mean marginalization? You guys umesema ati the dream ended with Tom Mboya and Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. Raila was a prime minister, very powerful one. 2008 2012. Alikuwa na minister wake. He could have asked what he wanted and it could have been done. So you guys had a chance to change the scenario. So it's the leadership issue. Leaders at that time did not push for these roads that you are mentioning to us to be done. But Kibaki still, during that government, Kibaki and Raila did 38 kilometers of road, Kendu Bay to Homa Bay. So Kibaki delivered stroke oversaw major trunk road upgrading, including Kendu Bay to Homa Bay. And also during this time, Homa Bay to Mbita was also among the major roads being upgraded around this period. So Homa Bay to Mbita was also upgraded during Kibaki stroke Raila's period when they were together from 2002 to 2012. So Kibaki did some roads in Homa Bay. Wanga has just chose to forget that. Let's come to Uhuru. Uhuru was the one who started the 74-kilometer Mbita to Sindo to Kiabuya Sori projects. Yeah? So those are the projects that Uhuru started. So Wanga amesema Uhuru alifanya only 7 kilometers. 7 kilometers of the 74 kilometers. 7 kilometers of the 74 kilometers. But remember, Uhuru delivered also other projects. Uhuru delivers other projects in Homa Bay. Uhuru delivered other projects in Homa Bay, and viewers, today we just want to go with facts. Sitaki kusema ati kitu useme mimi nimesema. Uhuru had projects in Homa Bay because people from Luo Nyanza wants to be lied to that ati hao ndio wenye wafanyiwangi vitu, but handshake imekuwa, na hata sisi wa Western tunalia handshake has only benefited Nyanza and never Western, while Western has supported Raila and ODM. We have been crying about that ikifika time ya handshake watu wenye wanafurahia tu peke yao ni nani? Ni watu wa Nyanza. Okay, so I just want to look at the projects. So let's talk about the projects that were documented during Uhuru's time. Uhuru, by the way, did a lot of water projects in Homa Bay, and that is one of the issues I was speaking about, because Wang is only talking about the roads. The issue in Homa Bay is not only about the roads. Water. Those areas lack water. So Homa Bay Cluster Water Supply Project commissioned in January 2022. That was done by Uhuru. Kendu Bay Water Supply inspected as part of the Homa Bay Water Projects under the National Government 2021-2022. Oyugi's Water Supply, Atemo Water Project in Kasipul, Kabondo. Koyokotieno and Rodi Primary School Water Supply Projects commissioned during the Uhuru administration. I want to check the bridge. I'm checking about the bridge. I don't know, is the Mfangano bridge ama nani alimaliza hiyo bridge? I want to check and I want to have it factual. Yes. And you mentioned Uhuru, but you guys, you need to give Uhuru his flowers, man. People from Homa Bay, you need to stop being distracted, because this is what I was looking for. The Mbita to Rusinga bridge, the Mbita causeway, is one of the clearest examples of a major Uhuru era national government project in Homa Bay. That bridge that Uhuru did from Mbita to Rusinga, man, imagine Gladys Wanga just anaambia mtu wake wa mkono amwandikie statement, and you do not mention this is one of the most important projects that was done in Homa Bay. The Mbita Rusinga bridge, connecting people directly. Let's read about it. So Mbita Rusinga bridge connects Mbita town to mainland to Rusinga Island in Homa Bay County. Approximately 1.5 billion. Construction. Kenha began construction in March 2013. Imagine vile tu Unya aliingia akaanza construction of Mbita to Rusinga Island. Commissioned July 2017 by President Uhuru Kenyatta. So in 4 years, Uhuru in his first term built the bridge from Mbita to Rusinga. And you guys are saying that Uhuru never did anything in Homa Bay. Hi guys, bana. Even if we hate Uhuru. So Uhuru did Mbita to Rusinga bridge. Na hiyo kitu yenye ilikuwa nataka kutafuta. So the purpose of this was to improve transport between Rusinga Island and the mainland and support trade, tourism and blue economy. And remember, this project is completed. The Mbita Rusinga bridge was a completed project by Uhuru. Again, the roads that you are saying zenye mnasema Ruto amefanya 28 kilometers, that was again the project that was commissioned by Uhuru. Uhuru is the one who commissioned the 74 kilometer Mbita Sindo Kiabuya Sori project. It was an Uhuru era flagship project. So Ruto inherited the 74 kilometer Mbita Sindo Kiabuya Sori project and relaunched it and then resumed it. So Ruto has launched another project called 53 kilometer Mfangano Island Ring Road project. Mfangano Island Ring Road project yenye ijaanza, so we cannot count it. Kumbuka Ruto ashamaliza 5 years, ajamaliza Mbita Sindo Kiabuya Sori project yenye alinherit from Uhuru. So mnasifia Ruto jo amefanya 28 kilometers. Uhuru built for you a bridge. Uhuru did the Mbita Sindo Kiabuya Sori project. He did some kilometers of that. We need to say that some work were done on the roads, and also side ya maji. Uhuru government did something in Homa Bay. So tunataka tu what is it called? Let's be factual here. Let's not lie to our people. Gladys Wanga. What is happening in Homa Bay is that Homa Bay County and the entire Luo Nyanza has had leaders wenye walikuwa wana deal na their own issues, not the people's issues. Because I want to give you a scenario of Kimani Ichung'wah. Kimani Ichung'wah used his influence as juko kwa public accounts committee. Kimani Ichung'wah made sure that Kenha allocated 1.5 billion for roads in Kikuyu. Kikuyu only ilipea 1.5 billion in roads than any other constituency. So it means that MPs can influence the roads that are being brought in their areas. The current CS of Treasury was an MP for 15 years. Wanga was a woman rep for 10 years. Other people, Kaluma has been an MP for, I don't know, 20 years. MPs have power to influence the road projects under Kera or Kenha. Because Ichung'wah did it. So why have MPs from Nyanza not been doing it? Atanda has been given the chance to be the chair of the Public Accounts Committee. Let's see how many roads he's going to bring here in Alego Usonga and in entire of Sai in Siaya. We need to see roads getting tarmacked. Because if you are talking about leaders being selfish, then it means that leaders from Nyanza are not selfish enough for their people. Wanga, Kaluma, all the leaders from Nyanza, you are not selfish to improve the lives of your people. Watu wa Central wako selfish, wana improve the lives of their people. Up to the last roads, wana make sure ziko tarmacked. Lakini nyinyi nanyi, mkiingia kwa government, ni kutumia vijana wenyu kama goons. And that is factual. We cannot run away from that. Nyanza is suffering from leaders' problem. It has never been the issues of presidents. President atawapatia kitu mnataka if you lobby. Use the resources you have. Badala kutuambia ati hizi roads zijafanywa, has Wanga ever went and documented that we are requesting the president to do this road for us, at documentie the vision that he has for these roads, atuambie how these roads can be done. Did you ever see any MP or governor coming to document bad roads in his area? Aeke online, we push the government. Aende apeleke plea to the government, to the National Assembly. Aseme roads in my area are not being done, my people are suffering. No. Lakini kifika time yenye wako exposed, they want to bring a narrative that does not make sense to us. And we as the people, we cannot accept that. And today we have just demystified the fact that roads have been done in Homa Bay, 38 kilometers by Kibaki. And if you are saying that Kibaki did not do enough, Raila was in the Grand Coalition from 2008 to 2012, whereby the Nyanza area had somebody close to the power for 5 years. Grand Coalition, many people, these people complaining were in government, they were ministers. Raila chose his own ministers. Pia Uhuru Kibaki alikuwa na wake. So you are acting as if you guys from Nyanza have never been close to power. No, you guys have been close to power. You have been in power. Raila Amolo Odinga was the minister of roads from 2003 to 2005. Your MPs at that time could have lobbied for him to bring you roads. So do not come here and blame the presidency. You also need to take your share blame as leaders from Homa Bay, as leaders from Nyanza, as leaders from Western. You do not care about the development of your people, and that is a fact. Because you guys have been in power. You guys have tasted power. Not only during Uhuru's era, Ruto's era, but also during Uhuru's era, you are close to power. Uhuru was bringing projects. Uhuru alileta stadiums juu Kisumu, roads zikabuildiwa, akabuild the bridge even before the handshake. So let's not lie to the people that you have been marginalized. No. Your leaders your leaders like the idea of you being marginalized. People of Homa Bay, people of Nyanza, people of Western, people of Coast. Leaders wanapenda mkiwa poor, mukilia. Now they use that to come and tell you angalia vile wametuacha. But leaders, what are leaders doing? Kimani Chungwa alienda ka make sure allocated roads. What is your MP doing to get you that road, to get you that hospital, to get you that Kera road? So viewers, in conclusion, I want to conclude by saying that the problems in Nyanza, the problems in Homa Bay about roads are not the president's problem. They are their leaders' problem. We have the same problem in Western, whereby our leaders only use the votes to bargain for their own positions. Wakishaenda huko juu, wanaandika tu watu wao kazi, and they don't care about the development. So the president also, if there's nobody following up development projects, the problem, president akona watu wengi wanamuomba vitu. Wewe usipoenda ukapush vitu zako, the president will not do anything for you. Kuna ministries, ongea na ministers, PS, weke projects za county yako na constituency yako mbele. Committees, you are in these committees to lobby for projects. Kila MP anafaa kuja anatuambia I have been lobbying this project for you. Watu wangu kuna shida ya maji, nimelobby hii project ya maji ndio imekuja. Tumeletewa hii water plant. Kama Busia, I always say Busia needs a water plant. Sijui nani Minister of Water. Imagine the MP of Budalangi should be talking to the Minister of Water, akuwe rafiki yake. Amulete irrigation, amulete hapa generator ingine. Alete new generators for pumping water. Wamalize hizi projects za water in Budalangi. Because that is the work of MP. Legislation. Kufuatilia developments kwa area yake. Aende kwa ministries wapush hizi projects. So the blame cannot be on the presidency. The blame goes to the MPs, the women reps, the MCS. Because kuna roads hapo zenye pia MCS na county government zitafanya man. Because I'm looking at those roads and I'm saying kuna roads zimefanywa hapa Busia county na the county government. na the MCS wamefanya some roads, wameopen up roads zingine zenye hazikuanga kitambo na ni county work. County ya Rongo wameka the billboards, the boards for MCAs and the MP, MCAs and the governor. So you cannot tell me that Homa Bay hakuna kitu kama hiyo bana. It does not really make sense, viewers. So I just want to say that what Gladys Wanga has said is total lies. The problem in Homa Bay, the problem in these marginalized communities is not the presidents. Because even if they have the president coming from their own tribes, those areas will not develop because the leaders want them to remain like that so that they can misuse their own people. So viewers, I want you to leave a comment and tell me what do you think. But for me, I just say that the issue is never the presidency. The issue is the leaders that have been in power for those 63 years.